Welcome back. You're watching live from Paris, and it's time now for Media Watch, our review of the top stories creating buzz here in France. James Creedon is here with me for that.
Good evening, Lana.
Good evening. And we start with a bit of a surprising story there, the kidnapping that was or wasn't in the south of France, in Ardèche. What exactly happened there?
Well, the police still aren't entirely sure. It's a really bizarre incident in the town of Privas. A few days ago, several people saw a young woman being bundled into the back of a black Mercedes and being whisked off into the sunset. Now, they presumed, okay, she's been kidnapped. This is a really bizarre incident. And some even spoke of men with an Eastern European appearance who had also been hanging around about a month previously. The same car had been seen, and the whole thing just looked like a kidnapping.
So it must have worried locals, of course, and presumably they called the police.
It certainly looked like the young woman was not too pleased about what was happening, right? So anyway, an appeal nationally was issued for witnesses, and then in the Haute-Garonne département near Toulouse, the 17-year-old young woman turned up as if nothing had happened. So it was a bit kind of, weren't you kidnapped? Are you okay? And then on Europe 1 this morning, Europe 1 being a French radio station, we learned that this is a Chechen tradition where the husband-to-be's family kidnaps the wife-to-be. Now, I'm not sure if this is a tradition in every Chechen
So it was an elaborate
some sort of a ritual, apparently, and this seems to have been confirmed by the young woman as well. But the police find it all very strange, and apparently they're continuing to investigate the story to see if it was consensual, to see if she actually wanted to be kidnapped.
You'll have to update us on that one, James, in the coming editions of Media Watch. I want to know what exactly happened.
I think if
there.
it was a widespread tradition, surely we would have already heard of it. If this was, every Chechen wife ever was kidnapped, I think it might have been, discovered before now. But this is the first time I've heard of it.
It is the first time I've heard of it, as long as the young woman is safe.
Yes, she is safe and well near Toulouse, apparently.
Next up, James, neo-Nazis have apparently lost one of their main pilgrimage sites.
That's right. About? Now, this is a strange story. In Germany, they've been talking about it a lot in the French news today. It's in the town of Wunsiedel. Locals apparently were sick of seeing thousands of neo-Nazis coming to pay homage to Rudolf Hess. Now, he was one of the right-hand men of Adolf Hitler, passed away in 1987, and his tomb is in the town of Wunsiedel. And so, yes, you had a lot of, hundreds of thousands of people coming on an annual basis to visit this tomb. So the town hall decided to destroy his tomb, and apparently they sought the permission of the church and his family. So his bones were dug up and cremated. And they're to be spread over a lake, but they're not going to say which lake because they're afraid that there are going to be hundreds and thousands of neo-Nazis.
That's a little reminiscent of another story we've had this year.
That's right.
The assassination of Osama bin Laden.
Yes, exactly. So I suppose people, coming back and paying homage. Now, in Les Incorruptibles, a French culture magazine, which I always pronounce badly, apparently this is not the only pilgrimage site. There are a few others for neo-Nazis, and they point out where Dresden City, apparently on the 13th of February every year, neo-Nazis tend to commemorate the bombing of the city of Dresden by the Allied forces. In Wewelsburg, there's a museum for the SS, which also gets a lot of visitors. And in Belgium, in the town of Brully-de-Pêche, pilgrims come to the bunker that Hitler built for himself. Well, I don't think he built it personally, but a bunker is Hitler, right, and this was in the French campaign. So there's a few places where they all gather.
All right, well, one less place, I suppose, now.
Exactly.
And last, you've got an amazing film for us that's surfaced, and it shows Russian police officers behaving badly. Yeah. Now, how badly?
Okay, well, very badly, actually. I think we should have a look at this video. France 2 News played it today at the 1 p.m. news show. Basically, you see a police colonel coming. He's near his office and basically comes out around half an hour later in his underpants. Oh, wow. And then he decides to go for a little wee against the door, urinate against the door. Now, if it was an isolated incident, you'd say, all right, a police officer peeing in the police station, what's he doing? But apparently there's a wave of these sort of videos going up online of Russian police officers behaving badly. Now, 3 hours later, he was evacuated from the scene of the crime, apparently, in his own police station. And there are other, internet users obviously are enjoying this, but there are many other videos of drunken Russian police officers, drunk out of their brains on the job, on the web.
As well.
Yeah, they're looking.
All of them seem to show
traffic traffic police.
Seriously inappropriate behaviour.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't want to be kind of trying to sort out a crime in that kind of state. But the police are, it is serious on some occasions. Apparently in Volgograd, the entire traffic. Yes, thank
James.
you. I'm trying. The entire traffic police was arrested. That's 120 people in the traffic police squad because they were all defrauding drivers, the whole lot of them. So I think there are even scenes of their arrest. So I suppose they're probably a bit less dangerous when they're drunk than when they're actually sober and getting money out of people illegally.
All right. Well, thanks very much. Some very interesting content today. That was Media Watch.
Thanks, Lena.
Thanks for being with us, James Creedon. Do stay tuned. Live from Paris continues. Up next is Web News, our roundup of the top internet content of the day. Stay with us.